everyone and welcome to the channel. I recently went to Legoland Windsor for the very first time and I thought I'd do a review on the park and just the trip in general. Firstly, I'll be discussing the look of the park itself, things like general upkeep. Then we'll move on and discuss rides and attractions. And then finally, I'll just quickly mention the staff at the park. I can't comment on food or drink in the park because we actually didn't buy any food or drinks while we were there, so that's just something that unfortunately I can't comment on for today's review. First off, I need to say how beautiful Legoland Windsor actually is. When you enter the park, you're at the very top of a hill and there's a beautiful view and you can see for miles. There's little telescopes that guests can look through if they want to as well, which is a nice little added touch. So yes, that did pleasantly surprise me. As it's so close to London, I just wasn't expecting it to have as many grassy areas as it did. One thing I found particularly difficult was the hills that the park is built on though. Legoland Windsor is a very hilly park and therefore guests who struggle with mobility, like myself, will probably struggle with certain areas of the park. So just bear that in mind if you're planning a trip. Generally, I found the park to be clean and tidy, however there were a few things that I did notice. We were in line for Flight of the Sky Lion at about 10:30 in the morning on the day of our visit. The park had opened at 10 a.m, so literally Legoland had only been open for half an hour and every single one of the bins in the line were just overflowing with rubbish. I honestly don't think the bins had actually been emptied from the day before. When we returned to the line later on that day, there was rubbish all over the floor by the bins, just simply because there wasn't anywhere else for people to put their litter. Also, there's display cabinets in the queue for some attractions and I noticed that inside the cabinets, some of them were very dirty, some had cobwebs, spiders inside, things like that. So that was a bit of a shame, just little details like that. It does make the park look a little bit untidy and a little bit dirty. Another thing I noticed was that in the line for rides, there's cobwebs everywhere. Many of the lines for the attractions are just starting to look like they're in need of just a little bit of TLC. Other than that, the other areas of the park were generally clean and tidy. The little lake area in the park where they host the pirate show thing, that was also quite a nice little area of the park, although it is quite a small area, so when the show is on, it can be a little bit tricky to maneuver around that area because it's sort of like there's just crowds everywhere trying to watch the show. I personally thought the park could do with more signposts. I know you can download the Legoland Windsor app and get directions on there, but of course, not everyone wants to use the app. The final thing I want to mention is that the queue times didn't seem to update very frequently. We got in line for Laser Raiders at one point and it was advertised as a 20-minute wait. We ended up waiting 90 minutes in total. While we were in the line, I kept checking the Legoland app and the line for Laser Raiders wasn't actually updated until we'd been in the line for at least a good half an hour, 40 minutes. So I think they could do with just updating the queue times a little bit more often. Moving on now to the rides and attractions at the park, Legoland Windsor do have some unique attractions, like for example Flight of the Sky Lion, which as far as I know is the UK's first flying theatre attraction. Deep Sea Adventure is also a little bit unique. It's a submarine ride which gives guests the impression that you're deep under the sea. However, in reality, only the bottom half of the submarine is submerged under the water at any point. Ninjago is also a fun indoor interactive attraction which is well worth checking out too. We went on several different rides throughout our day at the park, but we unfortunately didn't manage to do everything that we wanted to. Bearing in mind, we obviously went with the kids during the summer school holidays, so we weren't expecting to be able to do everything, to be honest. We managed to do Flight of the Sky Lion twice, the Dragon, Lego Ninjago, Deep Sea Adventure, Laser Raiders. We looked around the Lego Village, which is called Miniland, and we also did Fairy Tale Brook. I did want to do the Viking River Splash ride, however it was closed. Weirdly enough though, the day after we visited the park, Legoland announced that Viking River Splash would be closing permanently on September 25th. So that is a bit of a shame that I missed out on riding that. My favourite ride in the park was Flight of the Sky Lion. However, I enjoyed every ride that we did, to be honest with you guys. There's no massive thrills for thrill seekers at Legoland. It's very much a family park experience, so please don't go there thinking that there's going to be a thrill ride. It's not that kind of park. The park has a wide variety of family attractions for all ages though, which is good, but you will not be getting any high thrills. Ride operations at the park were okay. I don't really have anything too crazy to share with that, other than for some reason Flight of the Sky Lion was running on reduced capacity for a while. I'm not too sure why that was, so that was slowing the line down a little bit. Flight of the Sky Lion is definitely the standout attraction of the park for me, and it was the most popular attraction of the day. The line was consistently one of the longest, if not the longest, in the park. All staff we interacted with seemed nice. However, I will say on certain rides, it did feel like they could do with having more staff members just to help with the lines and just to help of the flow of things, basically, the flow of the ride operations. If you're a Lego fan like my stepson is, then you'll definitely want to visit Legoland and you'll probably really enjoy it. I was pleasantly surprised by the park and I wasn't expecting to like it quite as much as I did because, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Lego. I would say Legoland is worth a visit with your family or friends, even if you're not big fans of Lego, because again, I managed to enjoy it and I'm not really all that bothered about Lego. The fact that I'm not a big Lego fan did put me off going all of these years, but like I say, I did enjoy my day out. I can see a lot of potential in Legoland and I hope it continues to add unique and standout attractions like Lego Ninjago and Flight of the Sky Lion in the coming years. I do think though that there is some things that Merlin Entertainment, which are the owners of the park, need to work on, but overall it was a nice day out, it was a good experience and I look forward to returning to Legoland in the future. So what are your thoughts on Legoland Windsor? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, what is your favourite ride there? Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Bye everyone.